land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize, Creole and Garifuna.
Once again to do our daily devotion. Many times we go to people and we invite them to come to church, and the first thing I start to tell you is about somebody in the congregation that they think is not worthy and what we should do and why they can't come. So their coming to church is hinged on the life of another person. I've looked for that in the scriptures and I can't find it. Where your salvation is hinged on the life of another individual. The perfect church. Some people leave one church and go to another church. They don't resolve the problem that is in that church. They go to another church, taking the problem that they have and putting it on top of problems that they meet there. Our church is not perfect. And anybody who moves from another church and come to our church, you will find that we have issues there as well. I find best described about church is like a box with porcupines. And the more the porcupines hold out their spines or spikes or thistles or whatever you may want to call it, and come closer together, you will start pricking each other. And that's a problem. Because people don't want to humble themselves. And the more you keep that edge that you have, you will start to offend people. And that's one of the things that hinders the church. Now, the Bible does not have any perfect church in it. But I will read to you about Sapphira and Ananias. That was as perfect as it would have gotten. And if you want to exist in a perfect church, expect that similar things are going to happen. And what you may consider to be small things. Because what they did in today's church would have been considered to be a small thing. But when you're talking about a perfect God and all that He stands for, be careful. Be careful how you look at people within the body of Christ and how you cast aspersions. Just like today, that's what we're talking about. Christians who will do things and then the entire body of Christ pays for it. Or some people claiming not to want to come to Christ as a consequence of Christians that they see or pastors that they think is unworthy to carry the word. Let's go to chapter 5 of the book of Acts. And it says, from verse 3, so but Peter said, Ananias, why had Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Holy Ghost and to keep back part of the price of the land? What had happened here is that these people sold land, right? They sold the land. And what they did, they said they were going to, because they were trying to mimic a brother in the church who was doing things like this. They wanted praise. So what they did, sold the land, kept back part of the money, and then said that they gave the entire money. That, at this point of time, was ease in the body of Christ. It would have caused a lot of problems because it was introducing sin. What people consider to be a little sin, but in the sight of God, sin is sin. They have different sides of sin, of course, because they have different consequences. But people would have thought that this was a little sin, not in the sight of God. And he established this. The Bible says that these things are written as an example for you and I. So Peter asked him, he said, why lie to the Holy Spirit? The Holy Spirit is God. You can't lie to the Holy Spirit. It says, while it remained, was it not thine own? And after it was sold, was it not in thine power? Why hast thou conceived this thing in thy heart? Thou hast not lied unto men, but unto God. You see, you want that perfect church. You're agitating for the perfect church. And we should want to have the perfect church. But we should be doing what we think is right in the sight of God. Not looking at other people, but we ourselves, what we are doing to contribute to a perfect church. That is what we should be bothered about. We should not be worried about Tom, Dick, and Harry, like they say in Creole. Worried about Tom, Dick, and Harry, and worried about what they're doing and not worrying about yourself. The Bible says, before you could see to fix what is in somebody else's eyes, you should fix what is wrong in your eyes, that you can see. And Ananias, hearing these words, fell down and gave up the ghost. And great fear came on all them that heard these things. So he died. He died. And he said that the people who heard this were frightened. And that's where we need to be. When you're thinking about a church where things are not going the way they ought to be going, be afraid. What is it that you're taking to church? Some people don't want to worship. Some people don't want to do nothing. Some people stay in church and do all kind of crazy stuff. And some people are not wrong by pointing out these things. So it's not only looking at the one who is pointing finger at the Christian, but the Christian himself or herself should be careful of what they're taking into church. And yes, those of us who are in the body, we ought to do things the way God wants us to do things. But those who are outside should not watch our shortcomings and say, as a consequence of that, I won't go to church. Because I'm telling you, if that's what you want, none of us will go to church. Not a single one. Because as we look at the leaders in all the churches, we will see faults. But what does the Bible say? Come as you are. So Ananias drops down dead. And then it shows something else here because it goes further. You know, me and my wife, she points out my wrongs, I point out her wrongs. We can't collude on wrongdoing. We should not. And it says here, and the young men arose, wound him up, and carried him out and buried him. And it was about the space of 3 hours after when his wife, not knowing what was done, came in. So she don't know. She comes. She don't know what had happened. Then Peter said unto her, how is it that ye have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Lord? Behold, the feet of them which have buried thy husband are at the door, and shall carry thee out. So he points out and he says, the Spirit of God is leading this man. He said, why you two agreed to do that? He said, she should have said to her husband should have said to her, whoever brought up the idea, no, we can't do that. We are responsible for each other. I hear people say things about loved ones who have not come to Christ. Left alone, man, when you're ready. And I say, but how can you as a Christian say that when you don't even know how much time the person have left, how much time you have left? We should be desperate to get our families to get in. We should be very careful how we operate in the body of Christ.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace.
Good morning. Here we are once again to do our daily devotion out of beautiful Kamalote, the capital of Belmopan. Let's go to Romans chapter 8, and we're going to read from this is the top of the mountain. You know, because in Romans it starts by condemning everybody, and then thereafter it takes us up.
You are my inspiration, seeing you happy and how quickly you grow. You are so tiny yet so smart. You have the most sacred place in my heart. I know you thought I was strong. If only you knew my strength came from you. All I think... Sir, don't you think you're a little bit too big for this story time?
Excuse me? What about all this discrimination? As far as I'm concerned, I identify as a 4-year-old. Besides, I hear this children's book have pictures, and everybody like pictures, right?
Yeah.
Read away, please.
I do all I think you need and ask. I pay attention with love and care. I love her most even when I think you're not there. My name is Madeline Tucker, and I am the author of My Inspiration. And you can purchase this at any of the Angeles Press locations and also on Amazon.
Blessed Gardens is servicing home gardens across the country from the nation's capital and helping Belizeans reconnect with nature. We have everything you need for your home garden, so get growing. We have various types of soils: fortified soil, composted soil, potting soil, and pure compost for your garden. We have quality seeds and over 65 varieties of food seedlings for your garden. We even have organic insecticides available, EM soil treatment, and Polyshade for your excessive sun or rain. Blessed Gardens has all your garden solution in one location. Call.
I'm a licensed electrician for 15 years. Safety is always an electrician #1 priority. I shop at Belize. Belize give me high quality, durable material. Cheaper doesn't mean safety. Cheaper means danger. When I think about safety, I think about Belize. Remember, at Belize, quality is saving.
Best for you and best for me. At Benny's, it's the quality. Benny's, quality and savings. See you at the store.
There have been a lot of questions about what the proposed broadcasting bill could mean for online content creators. So, here are answers to some of the most frequently asked questions. You create content online. You post videos, go live, work with brands, and maybe even get paid for advertising or sponsorships. But does getting paid for your content mean you now need a broadcasting license? The short answer is not automatically. There are specific requirements that determine whether you're considered a national online broadcaster under the proposed law. First, do you fall under the definition? You may be considered a national online broadcaster if all of these apply. 1. You control the broadcast. 2. You broadcast exclusively online. 3. Your broadcasts are mainly directed to Belize. And 4. Your advertising or sponsorship revenue comes predominantly from Belizean citizens. If all 4 apply, you may fall within the National Online Broadcaster category. So, if all 4 apply to me, does that mean I need a license? Not necessarily. If you fall within the category, the proposed framework provides for exemptions where the regulations allow. So, you may still qualify for an exemption. What determines an exemption? When developing exemption rules, the BBA will consider how much you earn or benefit, including revenue or other business benefits from your broadcasts. They will also consider how often you broadcast, including how frequently and how many broadcasts you make. Another factor is how big your audience is, based on your average or highest audience size. And they'll consider who can watch, including whether your broadcasts are open to the public in Belize or limited to a particular group. Other relevant public interest factors may also be considered. So here's the bottom line. Getting paid to create content does not automatically mean you need a license.
Smart, bringing people together.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I heard they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, man, the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
As a plumber for 25 years, I believe in quality, and that's why I shop for all my plumbing supplies at Belize. Cheaper PVC pipes and fittings may save a little today, but leaks can cost much more tomorrow. And that's why I shop at Belize, because quality is savings.
Quality is savings at Benny's. Best for you and best for me. At Benny's, it's the quality. Benny's, quality and savings.
It's been a while, you know, they have been asking, and finally this year, because it's been like 5 years now, you know, they have been saying, you know, we need help. Because they would have asked me, I don't have the knowledge and I won't try to tell them what I don't know. I could just tell them, my dad used to be a farmer, so I would just know so much. But we need someone that has the knowledge and have studied these things. So that's how we came up with getting an agronomist to assist these farmers. They have asked for it. and the government of Belize, along with BMDC, have assisted us with getting a personnel from the country of Cuba to come and assist us. The agronomist plays an important role, of course, right? Because, you know, we are using different chemicals for weed control, and if you do not do the right dosage at the right time with the right weather, I have learned that from this agronomist, that you cannot just say, get up today and say, or call and say, we need the drone today, we need to spray. No, you know, the agronomist is trained to, or he studied these things, right? So we listen to him. His help has been, you know, very important to these farmers. The farmers, they have responded with his knowledge to them, helping them to you know, improve their quality, their techniques, you know, maybe what they were doing. With the help from him, it's a better way to do it. We try to be fair, and we also want all the farmers to be happy with, you know, the assistance we're giving them. Production won't increase like maybe this year. Gradually you will see it increase more and more each year. So we will need him, we will need his assistance.
I'm a licensed electrician for 15 years. Safety is always an electrician's #1 priority. I shop at Belize. Belize give me high quality, durable material. Cheaper doesn't mean safety. Cheaper means danger. When I think about safety, I think about Belize. Remember, at Belize, quality is saving.
Best for you and best for me. At Benny's, it's the quality. Benny's, quality and savings. See you at the store.
There have been a lot of questions about what the proposed broadcasting bill could mean for online content creators. So, here are answers to some of the most frequently asked questions. You create content online. You post videos, go live, work with brands, and maybe even get paid for advertising or sponsorships. But does getting paid for your content mean you now need a broadcasting license? The short answer is not automatically. There are specific requirements that determine whether you're considered a national online broadcaster under the proposed law. First, do you fall under the definition? You may be considered a national online broadcaster if all of these apply. 1. You control the broadcast. 2. You broadcast exclusively online. 3. Your broadcasts are mainly directed to Belize. And 4. Your advertising or sponsorship revenue comes predominantly from Belizean citizens. If all 4 apply, you may fall within the National Online Broadcaster category. So, if all 4 apply to me, does that mean I need a license? Not necessarily. If you fall within the category, the proposed framework provides for exemptions where the regulations allow. So, you may still qualify for an exemption. What determines an exemption? When developing exemption rules, the BBA will consider how much you earn or benefit, including revenue or other business benefits from your broadcasts. They will also consider how often you broadcast, including how frequently and how many broadcasts you make. Another factor is how big your audience is, based on your average or highest audience size. And they'll consider who can watch, including whether your broadcasts are open to the public in Belize or limited to a particular group. Other relevant public interest factors may also be considered. So here's the bottom line. Getting paid to create content does not automatically mean you need a license.
It's time for education. We're smart, we've got no doubt. smart, bringing people together.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Belize Hardware since I heard they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, man, the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God, Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
As a plumber for 25 years, I believe in quality, and that's why I shop for all my plumbing supplies at Belize. Cheaper PVC pipes and fittings may save a little today, but leaks can cost much more tomorrow. And that's why I shop at Belize, because quality is savings.
Quality is savings at Benny's. Best for you and best for me. At Benny's, it's the quality. Benny's, quality and savings.
You are my inspiration, seeing you happy and how quickly you grow. You are so tiny yet so
It's been a while, you know, they have been asking, and finally this year, because it's been like 5 years now, you know, they have been saying, you know, we need help. Because they would have asked me, I don't have the knowledge and I won't try to tell them what I don't know. I could just tell them, my dad used to be a farmer, so I would just know so much. But we need someone that has the knowledge and have studied these things. So that's how we came up with getting an agronomist to assist these farmers. They have asked for it. And the government of Belize, along with BMDC, have assisted us with getting a personnel from the country of Cuba to come and assist us. The agronomist plays an important role, of course, right? Because, you know, we are using different chemicals for weed control, and if you do not do the right dosage at the right time with the right weather, I have learned that from this agronomist, that you cannot just say, get up today and say, or call and say, we need the drone today, we need to spray. Now, you know, the agronomist is trained to, or he studied these things, right? So we listen to him. His help has been, you know, very important to these farmers. The farmers, they have responded with his knowledge to them.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place we ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize.
And welcome to another edition of Rise and Shine. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday morning. That is right, we are in the last week of the month of August. Today is August the 25th, and it is an absolute pleasure to come into your homes. I was on live yesterday. I'm on again today. I should be on Thursday again. At least my commitment is 3 times per week to be on the morning show live. Last week we were having some technical issues and so on, but this week I am glad to be present. There are so many issues to talk about, so many things that need to be addressed in our beautiful country of Belize. Cost of living, electricity, some of the bills that are passing through the House and the Senate. How have we reached the point today where electricity bills are in the hundreds of dollars? We need to go through this information, and we need to fact check the Electricity Limited, BEL, and the press conference that they had yesterday. I believe that Belizeans not just get up one day and decide to complain about their electricity bills, and the primary excuse that BEL is giving is the issue of temperature, the weather. It's a lot of little things. Exact word, lot of little things. And so, let's begin with the weather, which, according to these people, the weather are the culprit. Is the weather the culprit? Let's find out more about that today. Remember, we need to be on Zoom because Kerm is going to join us by Zoom. But let's start with the weather forecast this morning. Today is August the 25th. It is Tuesday. It is the second day of high school, and your kids should either be at school, heading to school, or if they live close, then maybe they go through the door. The morning forecast for today, as of 6 a.m. this morning, the general situation calls for a moderate and somewhat moist east to northeasterly airflow to prevail. For the next 24 hours, we can expect sunny with cloudy spells today and cloudy at times tonight. A few showers and thunderstorms will affect mainly the south this morning and tonight. Otherwise, activity will be generally isolated. So if we take a look at the 4-day forecast, which gives us the temperature, we had said yesterday that we can expect some rain in the daytime. And so we see that for Wednesday and Thursday, we can expect that. Today, isolated showers. Marine conditions. Winds are blowing from the east to northeast at 5 to 15 knots, with sea state slight to light choppy and waves 1 to 4 feet. Beautiful day on the seas. Temperatures. We normally start with inland temperatures because we are inland, the capital city of Belmopan. The low was 72 degrees earlier this morning, and the highs will be 95 degrees. 95 degrees. It's going to be a warm day. On the coast, the low is 82 degrees and the high 89 degrees. And in the hills, the low will be 68 and the high 82. The outlook. Cloudy at times with a few showers and thunderstorms expected mainly over the south and central areas on Wednesday, then mostly over the south on Wednesday night. Elsewhere, activity will be isolated. And now for the tropical weather outlook. Shower activity associated with an area of low pressure a few hundred miles north to northeast of Bermuda, northeast of Bermuda, remains disorganized with a broad and elongated circulation. This system currently has a medium chance of becoming a short-lived tropical cyclone later today before it moves on to cooler waters tonight and Wednesday. The system poses no threat to Belize. There is also an area of low pressure centered a few hundred miles south-southeast of the Cabo Verde Islands and is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. This system could become a tropical depression during the next few days, while it moves westward to west-northwestward across the eastern and central tropical Atlantic. This system also poses no threat to Belize. So that system is more to the west of us, but quite a few miles away. Does not pose any threat to Belize, but we are just beginning to see now some activity in our region. We are still in the hurricane season, and so we encourage our Belizeans to remain vigilant in this particular season. Try to put aside some stuff. As you know, with Belize, it is the later time of the year that we begin to experience some of the weather problems associated with hurricanes. Now, this morning, as I said, we have several things that we do want to talk about this morning, and at the top of the list, we have to talk about the electricity rates. This person says there is a lot that they are failing to properly explain to the public about the smart meter, other than just saying that they are smart. They also do not need to tell the public of all the money they are spending to improve the electricity grid. The public wants to know, why is my bill high now when it was low the previous months? BEL and PUC need to take a step back and go over the old analog meters and the new start meters. I can tell you that the older meters were inefficient because they had a start static threshold that, if not met, it did not record usage, whereas the new smart meters record the lowest of usage. The smart meters record as low as 0.2 kilowatt per hour's usage, and so they are more sensitive. All right, so That is a comment from one of our regular viewers stating that comparing the old to the new system, the new system is able to capture minute changes, more minute or smaller changes within usage. Now, here is how I would start my conversation. I was going to start it in a different way, but it is very clear that there is a new smart meter and that the increase in complaints are more aligned with the change in metering as opposed to the change in temperatures. So there is a reason why BEL decided that they are going to change those meters, and certainly they have spent a significant amount of money to purchase and then to install these new meters. But where can you and I go where there is some kind of an experiment set up by BEL to demonstrate to the general public that the old meter and the new meter are recording according to the same system? You understand? Like, if BEL does not want to do it, PUC should do it. And who else should do it? Should be the University of Belize or Galen University. Because what we need is data. We need information. We need information that is separate from the information that is coming from BEL. PUC should have an independent system from BEL, and the universities, which are supposed to work on our behalf, should be working to collect the kind of data so that they can contribute academically to the discourse, to the conversation. If you have an old meter and the change to a new meter, and you are the person in charge of BEL, and if you genuinely believe that these meters are supposed to be the same as it relates to calculation as the old ones, the new ones and the old ones are the same, then you should not be afraid to set up a demonstration that's running that is able to show very clearly that the meters calculate the same. There is no way that a new meter, like if you burn X amount of kilowatt hours, both meters should give you the same reading. Both meters should give you the same reading. So if you change the meters and you are getting a different bill on the changing of a meter, then something is wrong there. But that is not what BEL is saying. BEL is saying it's not that. But where can you go? I believe that this is something that our universities, rather than we just have talking heads, this is something that the universities are supposed to help us with. Set up the old meter, set up the new meter, put a light bulb, or put a device that is burning electricity, and let's look at it. Let's look at it. That's what I have to say about the meters. But That's not what BEL is saying. I have some clips that we have selected. We're going to play one of those clips. There's several clips, but we can play any one of them. Maybe the first one first, so that we can hear what BEL is saying, what the minister is saying as it relates to the complaints. Belizeans did not just wake up one day and begin to complain. Belizeans did not wake up one day and just say, oh, let's give the government hell on electricity. And it's an outcry across the nation of Belize, so much so that a press conference had to be called. So we know that something abnormal has happened, and to try to pass it off as something normal is gaslighting. Let's play the first clip.
Diversified strategy that includes new solar generation, battery energy storage, strengthening BEL's investment capacity, expanding access through microgrids and standalone systems, improving the national transmission and distribution network, and exploring greater regional interconnection, including opportunities with Guatemala. We have mobilized and are leveraging support from international development partners, including the World Bank, the Millennium Challenge Compact, the International Finance Corporation, and the Saudi Fund for Development. Among the major initiatives underway are the development of approximately 80 megawatts of solar generation, supported by the TASA framework and IFC advisory assistance, and the 40 megawatt battery energy storage system program supported by the World Bank. Battery storage is particularly important because it will allow Belize to better integrate renewable energy, strengthen grid stability, and manage electricity supply during periods of peak demand. Government is also supporting BEL's ability to undertake the capital investment necessary to strengthen the electricity system. The BEL investment bill provides for government to invest approximately $73.2 million through preference shares. This is an investment in the productive capacity and resilience of our national electricity system. Our objective is to build an electricity system that can support Belize's economic growth while ultimately helping to reduce the wholesale cost of power and protect consumers. At the same time, we must ensure that BEL remains financially capable of purchasing electricity, maintaining the grid, and investing in the infrastructure necessary to keep the lights on. This is why government has supported the development of a cost of power adjustment mechanism. The intention is to establish a more responsive system for dealing with changes in the actual cost of electricity, while incorporating measures designed to protect consumers from unnecessary hardship.
One of the parts of the press conference was the minister himself talking about what they are going to do, what they plan to do in order to reduce the burden of the cost of electricity. Now, recently we have not talked about electricity in Belize, but you are those of you who have watched us for years know that there are many ways that we have discussed ways that Belize needs to be independent electrically in regards to generation of power. We cannot, as a nation, afford to have very expensive forms of cogeneration of power. We want to be environmentally friendly where possible, but simultaneously, the cheaper form of electricity is what you have to go after. Now, we decided that we are going to become dependent on electricity from Mexico. And so we neglected building our own capacity in country, and a decision was made to become dependent on Mexico. That was an error. We knew it was an error because no country should depend on another country as its major source of electricity. And so it was like, if you're smart enough, you would know that all that other country had to do is to offer you cheap electricity so that you become dependent upon them. Dependence takes time. So as you enjoy this cheaper electricity, you start shutting down your own ability to generate electricity, and then you begin to depend more and more upon your cheapest source. And so it takes years to invest in your own capacity, but it doesn't take much to lose your own cogeneration capacity. And so you would know that all you need to do, as I said, that to make them dependent on your country for electricity, and then tear up the rates. Take up the rates. And that's what Mexico is doing. So now, you imagine that instead of building our own capacity, our leaders decided that they will put their eggs in a basket that they cannot control, which is Mexico. And so what does Mexico do? When they overflow, they can sell it to Belize at cheap, which will also be the cooler time of the year. When will they have overcapacity? It will be when their people are not using it. When will their people not use it? It will also be the time when we Belizeans don't need it. So that's when it's cheap. So when will electricity be expensive in Mexico? When will electricity be expensive in Mexico? It will be when their people use it the most, right? So when will it be when their people need it the most? It will be when our people need it the most, right? Because we're a neighbor, right? So we have the exact same environmental climate. So when they need it most is when we need it most, and when they need it most is most expensive, so it's going to be more expensive to us, right? So what kind of degree does a person really need in order to recognize something as simple as what I am telling you? And I am joined by my good friend Kerm Timbrell. He's not physically in studio, but he is on Zoom. Good morning, Kerm, and thank you for joining me this morning. Are we able to switch to are we able to switch to Kerm? I can't hear Kerm. It's the same audio from the, it's the same. Let's take a short break, please, and we'll be right back, Belize, because we want to have Kerm join us. So we're going to take a short break. It's 3 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we'll be right back.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace.
I'm a licensed electrician for 15 years. Safety is always an electrician #1 priority. I shop at Belize. Belize give me high quality, durable material. Cheaper doesn't mean safety. Cheaper means danger. When I think about safety, I think about Belize. Remember, at Belize, quality is saving.
Best for you and best for me. At Benny's, it's the quality. Benny's, quality and saving. See you at the store.
There have been a lot of questions about what the proposed broadcasting bill could mean for online content creators. So, here are answers to some of the most frequently asked questions. You create content online. You post videos, go live, work with brands, and maybe even get paid for advertising or sponsorships. But does getting paid for your content mean you now need a broadcasting license? The short answer is not automatically. There are specific requirements that determine whether you're considered a national online broadcaster under the proposed law. First, do you fall under the definition? You may be considered a national online broadcaster if all of these apply. 1. You control the broadcast. 2. You broadcast exclusively online. 3. Your broadcasts are mainly directed to Belize. And 4. Your advertising or sponsorship revenue comes predominantly from Belizean citizens. If all 4 apply, you may fall within the national online broadcaster category. So, if all 4 apply to me, does that mean I need a license? Not necessarily. If you fall within the category, the proposed framework provides for exemptions where the regulations allow. So, you may still qualify for an exemption. What determines an exemption? When developing exemption rules, the BBA will consider how much you earn or benefit, including revenue or other business benefits from your broadcasts. They will also consider how often you broadcast, including how frequently and how many broadcasts you make. Another factor is how big your audience is, based on your average or highest audience size. And they'll consider who can watch, including whether your broadcasts are open to the public in Belize or limited to a particular group. Other relevant public interest factors may also be considered. So here's the bottom line. Getting paid to create content does not automatically mean you need a license.
Smart, bringing people together.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Belize Hardware since I heard they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, and the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God builders also had 25% hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
As a plumber for 25 years, I believe in quality, and that's why I shop for all my plumbing supplies at Belize. Cheaper PVC pipes and fittings may save a little today, but leaks can cost much more tomorrow. And that's why I shop at Belize, because quality is savings.
Quality is savings at Benny's. Best for you and best for me. At Benny's, it's the quality. Benny's, quality and savings.
Smart, bringing people together.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, mestizo.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine. Thank you so much for joining us. As I said before the break, I'm going to be joined by Kerm Timbrell. So make I just shout out the man and say good morning one time. Kerm, good morning, Kerm. Can we show Kerm visually? Could you just talk a little bit, just proceed, and then we're just going to work that audio out there.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place we ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place we ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace.
There have been a lot of questions about what the proposed broadcasting bill could mean for online
Test
content
1,
creators.
2, 3.
So, here are answers to some of the most
Test
frequently
1, 2,
asked
3. Test 1,
questions.
2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
You create content online. You post videos, go live.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
For advertising or
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Considered a national online broadcaster under the proposed Do you fall under the definition? You may be considered a national online broadcaster if all of these apply. 1. You control the broadcast. 2.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine. I think we said progress brings problems, but progress is good. Progress is good, and I think we got it this time. So, Manin Kerm, good morning to you. Good morning. We can hear you now.
Sorry about hiccups there. That's good to be back, Louis.
It's good to see you, and of course we want to change the visual as well too, because we want Kerm to say good morning, and let's get going.
Yes. So it's good to be back, Louis. I was away for a while, man, and it's hot in Belize. Listen, it's even hotter in the US. Yesterday we checked, it was 107 degrees. It was 68% humidity, and so we need those electricity to be going, Louis. And we need better rates indeed. We need to make sure the bills are not going higher than they ought to go, because, like you said, inflation is a real issue, and people, I see there's an outcry in the country.
Well, Kerm, how long have battery backups been invented?
In terms of the invention, I'm not sure, but it's been tested and proven in use for many decades now.
Decades, right? Decades.
These decades. I've worked with it for decades. I personally have worked with it for decades.
Right.
And since then, the technology has improved drastically. I was in communication with a company who actually makes battery backup systems for national purposes. Specifically for large loads.
Have you ever approached the government just to say, hey, we got some battery backups here, you know?
I have not, and for reasons, because sometimes as a matter of fact, we have made a proposal to the government some years ago to supply the entire country with all systems, right? We have people who came all the way into the country. We have experts. I mean, these are global giants. We went to PUC, we went to BL at the time, and we made some presentations.
Yeah. So the reason why I ask you that is that these people are blowing air up. These people are joking, Kerm. They are joking because
and that's the thing. The thing with the United States.
All you have to do. Let's. I mean, just right off the surface, you don't even have to know much maths or much engineering to know is that when Mexico is selling you at the cheapest is when they don't need it. When Mexico is selling at the cheapest is also when we don't need it. So what you do is you find a way to store it. When it is the cheapest, you buy it when it is cheapest so that you store it. And then when you really need it, when Mexico is very high, then you use your battery backup. Am I correct? Is it not just as simple as that? You buy when it's cheap, store it, and then use it when it becomes more expensive?
That's a great analogy. It's a great analogy. That's a good strategy, actually. When you have the capacity to store, and like I said, I came across this company through a friend of mine who does that kind of work. I still have the documents, of the storage capacity of these batteries. They're for long term, right? And so they really build with the level of efficiency that you need. But the problem what we have, Louis, is this. We have to remember, whenever we go and we approach international companies, they do things above board, right? And so when you have an investment climate like the ones that we have, we start to have a lot of problems because people start to look at they look at the investment history, they look at some of the pros, the cons, the things that they've heard, and they realize, boy, do I really want to do business with Belize? And this is the kind of issues that you start to face because people are, I don't want to do business in a country where it seems like I have to be doing anything that's that has any under table payments or corruption attached to them. Why these companies, they are governed by very serious regulations. They know they can't play those kind of games, and so that's one of the issues that I know for a fact that has affected some of the investors that we could have or potential companies to come in and help us to deal with these issues, right? It's because they don't want to be involved in no kind of
let's cut to the chase, Belize. What Kerm is saying is that it's a pay-to-play in electricity. It's pay-to-play. So it's not that investors would not, Belize doesn't have to spend a dime because the investors would be willing to come into the country, set up the battery banks, and all we have to do is just to sign an agreement where they are able to recoup their investment and whatsoever. So it's very easy. The government does not have to spend a copper. That all they have to do is have a very transparent process where people can bid and to be able to say, I will give the government this amount of electricity at this particular rate, so that the investors, not the government or BEL, can absorb. But it's a pay-to-play system. In other words, if you don't put money under the table, if the investors don't put money under the table, they don't even get to present properly what it is that they have to offer. Let's be, don't know that they say, don't know that what they say, Kerm, you'll try to say it nicely, but isn't it pay-to-play?
Louis, if I would have known, I could have brought online one of the persons who had actually made presentation to offer energy to our country. Because we have the whole blueprint of the whole plan that was presented, and these guys are giants. I'll tell you, these are guys with deep pockets, right? And they were going to design an entire system that could meet all our energy needs, and so but I know the details of the conversation.
Belize is like a company in the United States, right? 350.
Of course.
1,000 people. This is a very small. Belize is peanuts compared to other countries, other needs, etc. Right? So here we have very highly paid politicians and very highly paid people on the board of BEL, highly paid people in the administration of BTL that we know for years. There are people that we know and love, but they're not genuine, Kerm. They're not genuine with us. Now we are paying very exorbitant rates of electricity, but the thing is that investors, once everything is cut and dry and above board, there are players that are willing to come and deal with Belize.
Luis, I have to send you a copy of this. I have it right here. Let me send it to you as we speak. So you'll see what I'm saying, right? Let me send you this document. This is you're talking about battery backup. This is the thing of the day. There it is. I sent it to you.
Yeah.
And you'll see for yourself, right? What we're talking about. And I have the other presentations from previous engagements. So, but we have to understand, because when you come and you try to take these kind of investors and you think you can manipulate them in which way, shape, or form, then they will not be interested in doing any business with you, because they cannot do that. They are bound by they operate under a system that's called the rule of law, and they cannot be found in any way feeling like they have to be compromising themselves to do business with anyone or any country. And so first thing you guys will do is back out, and then some of the things that they've come up and said to us is like, man, you feel embarrassed, you really do feel embarrassed for your country. And so all of this, Louis, it has to do with that's why we have been suffering from corruption practice
for many decades, and it has affected us in many ways in our country. You are talking about purchasing power from Mexico. There's nothing wrong with that plan, but that plan needs to be a short-term plan. You need a long-term plan now so you can build your own system and make it as sustainable as possible for your country, right? And so that's what we did not have. The rates Mexico was giving Belize was really good when they're dumping power, because when you do the maths, when you compare it to what it costs you to actually generate from the hydro or even from a generator, which we've been trying to move away from, then the rate Mexico gives you when it's dumping, it's a very good rate. But like what you're saying earlier, if we can harness at that time, store that when their rates go up, then we can use what we have already have in storage, then that obviously is definitely the way forward. And that system that I said, you have the capacity to do that. When you have some time, you have to go through it in depth and see. That has the capacity. I mean, these guys are creating storage systems for large load consumptions. And so they're experts in the field. They know what they're doing. Like I said, the technology has really advanced a lot. And so I'm amazed at what the possibilities are for us today. But these things have to be done above board. They have to be done professionally. They have to be done as First World Nations does them, you know. It's business. It's who can deliver the systems that you need at the best possible rates, you know. And so that's where we're falling short, I believe, because the minute our government would say, well, we need to create this system to provide this need, and then we want to attract people to come in and to tender on it. Like people like tendering is, you don't want to waste your time, Louis, right? You want to know that it's a legitimate thing that you're working towards. You don't care if you win or lose the contract, as long as the process is legitimate and it's done right. That's what people are looking for, because these are not small investors, right? And
the
so
process is legitimate. They don't mind tender.
That's
if
right.
They're not
they don't
the process,
mind.
but they're not even going to waste their time if they feel that the government already has somebody in mind. Somebody
That's
has
right.
already paid under the table. So the grid in Belize is 120 megawatts, Kerm. 120 megawatts. That's the total consumption. So you are saying that there are enough battery backups, enough investors that are willing to just,
of course,
on the lows, on the time when Mexico is selling electricity low, these batteries are able to suck all of that.
Of course.
And buy it when it's cheap.
The system that I sent you is a stackable system. What does it mean?
Yes.
Right? What does it mean? It's a stackable system, right? So if you look at some of the pictures, you're going to see.
I'm seeing them, but I don't know if you might not want to show this to the general public at this time.
Not as yet. It's for your view right now.
Yes, just for my viewing. Yeah. So that's what I thought, right? So.
Yeah, but it's stackable. So it's kind of like, all right, this is how a small alternative energy system works, right? So let's say somebody moves into the country of Belize and they live off grid, which means they live in the bush, right? And so they come to you, they say, can you design a system for me that I will be able to run my house? So your first question to them is your house. What does your house mean? I need a detailed breakdown of all the stuff that you want to have in your home. What's normal for you? Well, I use this kind of refrigerator. How many refrigerators? 1, 2, or 3. And then I want air conditioning in 1, 2, or 3 rooms. And then we look at the size of the room, the energy consumption per air condition. If you want to have a dryer, all the loads you have to supply to the person who's designing that system for you. So what we do is that we do a load calculation sheet, and it's a micro picture of the macro picture of how actually our energy grid works in Belize, right? So you have to calculate all the loads that they use. So let's say a refrigerator, as an example, burns 6 amps of electricity. So you have to do the math. 6 amps multiplied by the hour, and then you get the amp hour usage. And then you do addition of all the different items that you use, and then you know, okay, this is the amp hour or power or wattage that residents or a nation will use, right? You're going to build some efficiency in it, of course, because you can't just have a system where it's exact, or you have to also calculate it when it peaks, like some of what we're seeing right now. In the hot season, you have peak load consumption. So you have to peak it, right? So that the system can accurately sustain the load demands, right? So once you peak it, you design it, then you're going to look at, okay, what do I need now? I'm going to need an inverter, solar panels, but if you use a small hydro or you use a backup generator, right? So you're going to look at your load, the source now of your electricity, all right? And then based on that, now you're going to look at the size of the battery bank you need. So the batteries might only be, in that case, like a residential application, the standard size is like 225 amp hours. They're small batteries. So you stack them together. You can do a series parallel stacking of those batteries to be able to create the size of battery bank you need for that particular application. So similarly with this system here, you can stack the batteries. You can do series or series parallel stacking to be able to supply the low demand that your country will have. And that's why they design these systems like these. Because if your system is bigger, you just stack them together and then it creates the size that you want, you know. It's like a water tank in your house, right? One water tank. If you have a water tank, but you realize, well, I need more water, what do? You get a second water tank or you get a bigger water tank. It's a similar thing. You just have this, you can stack the storage capacity either in series or series parallel stacking that can sustain the size of low demand that you will have. It's that simple. It's so easy.
So you
it's
can understand
mathematics.
You can understand that Belize has been getting electricity from Mexico at different rates for years now, right? Like years.
That's right.
They've been getting it cheap when Mexico is dumping, and they've been getting it expensive when Mexico needs it, right? Up to right now, them body no got battery bank. All of them should get fired, Kerm. They should get fired, Kerm. Honestly, they should get fired, Kerm.
Like what you're saying, the issue is that the plan was a good short-term plan, but then we need a long-term plan to be able to, because we're not going anywhere as customers. The energy needs will always be there.
Exactly.
So I know we should have had the proper energy plan for a long term.
In-house capacity curve. Mexico should be, Mexico supposed to be the second or third option. Mexico is our go-to. But I wanted to say something else though, because we signed an MMC agreement with the United States, right? The compact agreement, Belizeans have heard about it, and the compact deal with two things. It deal with education and electricity. I always remember that, the two E's, the compact with the United States, right? So, I want to hear me good. You know that part of the project where the MMC will do, right? That for set up, hear this now, for set up...
I think you froze there, Louis.
To set up policy, the purpose, one of the purposes of it is to set up policy which will force PUC and BEL to always use the cheapest available electricity at any given time. In other words,
yeah.
You heard what I said just now? That
Yes.
Think about this, you know. A policy will be created in which BEL has to always purchase the cheapest power at any given time. Now, when I hear that, I feel shame, Kerm.
Yeah.
I feel shame, Kerm. Shame.
Who came up with that policy, Louis? I need
the policy no exists, Kerm.
It exists, right?
It not exists.
Because Louis, the reality is this. What I know, because I was asked in my earlier career to run the international grid of Belize, right? So I have some information and I have knowledge of how this system works, because that's the kind of work I did. That is, and I believe was the policy BEL was using. And that's why, because remember...
That's what you thought they were using, Kerm.
Well, it would be on the back of the PUC in that case, though, because I mean, if I'm in business, right, which BL was,
yeah,
it is in my best interest to provide electricity at the lowest
correct
and some possible charge at that time. So why would I want to be using electricity that is not the cheapest at that given point? The only reason I would have done that in their case, the only reason would have been if, in fact, I had enough. Let's say it depends on the season of the year. Let's say it's a rainy season, and my hydro is full to capacity with water. It is better for me then to use that water than to go and buy power from Mexico at the time, because I have water and it's rainy season,
right.
And I can then refill my dam because it's rainy season.
Correct.
Now in a time like this, when it's all this sunlight, it's so hot and the dam is at its lowest point, it makes no sense. I have to go to Mexico because I can't run the water from the dam. It's not sustainable. Correct. And Mexico is African federate. So this is a system I think they were using, and I'm not sure why.
Kerm, that's right. That's right, Kerm. That's what I'm saying. That's what I imagine, that America have to come, peep over our back, and say, hey, do you know that you are not using the cheapest electricity at any given point in time? That sometimes the electricity is cheaper here, but you're using here?
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
Exactly, Kurt. That's why I tell you I felt ashamed. You are telling me that we don't have a policy yet in a 2026 that would force BEL to buy the cheapest electricity at any given point in time? Because you're remember, the cheapest form of electricity is really hydro. It's hydro. It is hydro. It's
but
not
it depends,
Mexico.
it really depends.
Mexico is petroleum.
It depends. Why it depends is because when Mexico is dumping, it gets really low and it gets really cheap and it's really worth purchasing, right? But that's the dumping. Right. But if you initiate the conversation and say, I need power now, that's when the problem starts, because
exactly.
Then this away cost no.
Right.
And then don't argue and deal.
We have agreed, Kerm, but we have agreed that when Mexico is dumping, 5 years ago we should have made take that dump and they put it in our batteries. We don't agree to that.
Yeah. And then, but the thing is, it's you really have to look at the calculation aspect of it, because your storage capacity is only for a period as well, right? So correct. You can't stop there. So there's a lot of maths in it. That's why with the guys who run the SCADA system control, there's a lot of competition that really relates to that particular moment in time. So they have to really look at the maths. Like when Mexico can, I say, boy, I have so much to dump. Then they're gonna do the maths. Is it worth it right now, right? So a lot of decisions has to be made in any particular given point in time, no? So, but Louis, I can just inject this quickly because I want to raise a possible scenario that could be one of the factors that's affecting our energy consumption use and our light bill, right? I was out of the country. I just got back yesterday, so I have to check here on my personal system to see what's happening. But this is what happens, right? So let's say BL design their grid to have different, what I'm trying to find the word that they would use. They would have different, let's say they have smaller grids on the main grid, right? So in other words, if you notice Belmopan as an example, you depend on a different feed from the hospital. You are on a different feed from somebody who live back, let's say, Tiger Tongue as an example, right? So each area have a certain amount of, they put certain area on different transformers, right? Because remember, you're breaking down electricity from whatever 115 down to 110 to 20 voltage, right? So there's different transformers that feed different areas of your city, right? As an example. If you have a scenario where these areas are been over, the transformer is not, the sizing is not suitable for that particular area. What it does is that it decreases the voltage that actually comes into your house, right? So how do you calculate your power consumption? It's the voltage times the current, right? Your current is a consistent because that has to do with the design of the particular device that you're running. You understand? So as an example, if you look at a refrigerator, let's say a refrigerator has an average of around 6 amps, right? That is a constant, that does not change. So if I'm going to calculate power consumption and its voltage multiplied by the current usage, and the current is a constant, then what is that the constant in the formula? It's the voltage. And the voltage can change based on the demand on that particular part of your grid at any given point in time. So if you're not getting adequate voltage levels in your area, it will cause your light bill to go higher. There's a higher draw.
But BL not said that. That's why the quality of the lines, the quality of the grid is very important. Because where the grid quality is low, we will end up paying more. But BL is not saying that, Kerm.
And they need to check that because in the past I had to point that out to them pertaining to an area where I worked in Belmufan. We had the appropriate equipment to check those things, right? So if you especially like Lewis, in times when there's more draw, if you look at, as an example, right now it's 8:45. People are at work. So what happened to that portion of your grid where people live, the residential areas? The load consumption on that grid is lower. The demand is lower. Why? Because people are at work, children are at school. But at 12 o'clock, what happens when they come home for lunch? When the kids come from school, you have a spike, you have a peak. What happens at 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening or in the nighttime? It peaks. Right? And that's where your problem lies, when your system is peaked. And if you are not having, if your lines are not able to supply the appropriate voltage when the system peaks, that's where you can have some major increase in your electricity bill.
Yeah.
Right? And I've seen that, and I'm going to check mines here because I've not done it for a while. I'm going to check mines here because I know how to do it. But those are some of the checks BL can do. You have to check the residential lines.
No, but BL is putting the blame on the customers. But I want to do one more before we go, Kerm, because I have Senate 9 o'clock. I have another information session.
Oh, wow, that is Senate. Oh, okay.
Not Senate, but Senate information session, because we're dealing with the another bill, not just the electricity bill, we're dealing with the education bill. I want to put up the temperatures because them by the liard. I have no better way to put it. I just said them by the liard. I want to show the temperature for last year with this year. I want you to see it, Kerm, because they're giving the impression that the reason why the bills are so high right now is because of the temperature, right? You'd use more fan, you'd use more electricity, you'd use more air conditioning. Not so. They say they go in at the fridge more often. Let's show the information. We need to compare last year temperature with this year temperature. Now, Kerm, remember some people here, we pay 300 a month, they pay 700, you know.
Yeah, I've seen it, Louis. There's a legitimate concern.
Right? They're not no small, you know. See, what's the difference between 2025 and 2026? Right? You could see on the far right-hand side that in January...
It's not coming up now. The image is not coming up on the screen.
It's not coming up? No. Yeah, come up right now.
All right, there it is.
All right. So what I did is I compared 2025 average with 2026 average for January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Okay?
Yeah, I see that.
So we are going to see when was it hotter. So in January, it was hotter last year. In February, it was hotter last year. In March, it was 1.8 degrees hotter this year. In April, it was hotter last year.
Yeah.
In May, it was hotter 2.2 degrees this year. In June, it was 1.1 degree Fahrenheit hotter last year. And look at July. Look at July.
Yeah.
It was 3.4 degrees hotter. So, you know what the 3.4 degrees hotter last year, Kerm?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So out of 6 months, only 2 months were hotter this year. So if your bill should go higher, Kerm, it should have only been 2 months of this year. And I put up that chart again. Let's look at July one more time. Your bill in July of this year, move the PlusTv logo. I don't know that we're going to just know, I think I'm in the seat before. Your bill in July of this year should be lower by far compared to last year. Am I correct, Kerm?
Yeah, based on what you're showing.
Right
that's
there.
The term that you're using, no? I mean,
you can't hide from the numbers. That's why when BL got an press conference, you tell you, hata. They not show you no data. See, Belize, you can see it for the first time. No other media house has this information. Only we alone have it. Right there, Kerm, only 2 months of this year out of the whole half year, it has been warmer. And it's only by 2 degrees or by 1 degree. But you can see June and July. Check your June and July bill. The only bill that should be higher than last year is maybe your May bill, your March bill. But do you know
what would be interesting to see, Louis? I
Uh-huh.
love that you put together that formula. What we need to see from BL is the load consumption graph comparable to the previous years, right? What do I mean when I say that?
Yeah.
Because there is a heavier demand on the grid. With a heavier demand, if you have a heavier demand, let's say you have your pickup truck, right? You got a trailer, right? And you load that up with soil, but you decide this year now, you want to put one bulldozer behind it too. What is it going to do to your vehicle in front pulling?
Yeah,
but
greater demand, Kerm, greater demand is going to be based on only two things. One, the economic growth. So there's more demand on the grid. But that not happen monthly. That happen annually. Because the economy to grow, so the load is going to grow. We expect that. But the second one is temperature. Because when we talk about the demand being greater, the demand being greater is going to be directly related to the devices in your home.
That's right. That's my point.
And that's going to be air conditioner, refrigerator, fan.
Yes.
That's what it's going to be.
And then so my point is that has the size of the system been adequately improved? Because if not, it creates a strain, like what I was explaining earlier, as when it breaks down to your home, what you're actually getting in terms of the voltage levels at your home. Because if the voltage levels are being strained because of the greater demand in that area, it is going to very seriously affect the power consumption that you use. Right? Only technical people can understand these things like that, and only technical people can measure it. I have a meter to check it. I can check mine.
Kerm, what I am saying, Kerm, is that at a press conference, Belize Electricity Limited should not have bring words. They should have brought numbers, right? Shouldn't they?
Data is important. Data is very important.
Words.
They call it words. Think like what you're saying. I think like what you're saying, Louis, right? The thing is this, that there has been a major change, right? We listen. People are saying, I felt it. I've asked the questions too, right? there has been a change that's questionable, that's concerning. Like, how could my light bill have gone up so much? So that's a non-negotiable. And there's a public outcry because many people across the country are feeling the same thing. So the issue is, what is the problem? Where is the problem? Because there is one, and I'm not sure I would agree that the temperature is the only thing. That does have some factor, you know, but to be able to increase your utility bill that high, I mean, if you may tell me 15-20%, okay, maybe I could work with that, but it's more than that. It's just about almost 50 to 100% increase, you know, and so people are concerned.
Have to be, because that's our big licking.
It's a big increase. It's a big increase, and so BL have to continue to do the research. I would want to encourage them to really do what I recommended, to check the sustainability of the different. They got a word on a use rate, man. I'm trying to find. I think it's feeder. I don't remember the word this morning. Where they put you. It's feeder. It is feeder. Because remember, they got feeder 1, feeder 2, feeder 3, feeder 4, right?
Yeah.
And so the different feeders, which supply the demand for that area, needs to be checked, because if you don't have the appropriate transformers in the area that is suitable now for the demand of the load in that area, you will have the kind of problems I had just outlined, because it's going to affect the voltage quality level. And if that voltage quality level falls, it's going to automatically increase your power consumption, because that like you strain, that you take somebody heart and strain it. What happened? There's a stronger flow of the blood pressure. You understand? Affect your organs. You understand? So I want to encourage people to really look at that, because to me, I think that could be a very serious determining factor here, because we have to agree that over the years there has been more demand on BEL system, and if appropriate upgrades have not been done in the different sectors of the country, in the different feeders, then automatically it is going to increase the person consumption, because the transformers in that area cannot suitably operate when it's peaking so much, because maybe it wasn't designed for that at the time. And then there has been additions in terms of the amount of devices people are now using. So it is over max. It is past the design for that part, for this particular time. And so it will mean that they have to go in and do some serious changes, whether I change all their transformers, you know, check people. I know one time they changed the service entrance, right? The service entrance were changed, because I used to have a 60 amp. This is when we made a complaint about it, you know. And BL came and they gave us a 100 amp service entrance. And you will have noticed a lot of people, they give their 100 amp service entrances. So then are some of the other things that they can look at to see, is this where the system is leaking? But where is it going to show up in terms of the problem? Not on BL side, but on the consumer, because they're like, they will go higher. So to me, that one of the things that I really encourage them to look at to see, you know, are we able to sustain the demands on the different feeders today versus when that system was designed to be able to support that era.
Yeah, Kerm, I gotta run go. Unfortunately, Belize, I gotta run go. But you are getting far more information here than you're getting from the press conference, right? Because we gotta do some maths for them, Kerm. This conversation gotta continue. But to say that a lot of little thing and then just throw it right upon the customers is really unfair. It is wrong. It is wrong. I have just showed you that this year, July is 3 degrees cooler, and that June was 1.1 degrees cooler. May was a little higher, so I could understand your bill going up in May, but the numbers are here. Anyway, I gotta say, I gotta go. It's 9 o'clock, and my next meeting begin right now. Kerm, thank you so much for joining us. God bless you. Welcome back home. Enjoy your rest. Belize, God bless you. See you tomorrow.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize.